On this video, we're going to take a look at the candidate source report. In our standard reports down under the performance section, we've got the candidate source report. So this is fantastic for you. And what this is going to do is when you're adding new candidates into the system, as long as you're entering into the source field where you're finding those candidates or where you found them, then you'll be able to then have a report built for you with those statistics. So you can see where you're getting your candidates from, you can see how much your revenue you're making from each of those sites, and you also get a breakdown as well. So this is a brilliant report. Now, just to point out before we go into the report where the source field is, if you are choosing to add candidates using our CV import tool, just to show you, when you've got candidates in here and you go and click on the CV, you'll see here you've got a source tool or a source field. So from here, you should have an option here of different source fields that you've had put into your system that are relevant to your client. So this list should be client specific to you guys. You don't even have to use that particular pencil. You could just start typing in and selecting. And then once you've then added the candidate, it will go into their record. Alternatively, if you're adding candidates manually, you can go to People, New Candidate, and you'll see straight away you've got the source field here, and you can do exactly the same thing. So really get into that habit of just adding in that information while you're creating the candidate. So if we go back to our reports, let's open our candidate source report here. I'm just going to look back on the last week and see all the candidates we've added in that date range. You can filter further by either the owning consultant, team, office, or region. You have a couple of additional options down here. You could look by candidates with a specific status. You can look for a specific source. And then at the bottom, you can either group by, sort by, and then by. So you've got plenty of options of defining your data. So you can see here in group by, you've got sort by, and then by. Your format of your report, PDF is the standard default, but you could always select RTF or Excel if you wish. When you're ready with your data, confirm, and that will then build that report for you. Let's take a look. So in the last week, we can see we've had 2 new candidates in from CV Library, 2 in directly from the company website, which is brilliant, 1 from LinkedIn. And then when we go over the top, these are our top graphs, it will show you where you're getting your candidates from the left and how much money you're making and from which source on the right. So we can see that we've placed 1 person in the last week, and that was the person we found on LinkedIn. And then if we scroll down, you've got then a breakdown of all the sourcing and recruiting that you've been doing in that period. So we can see how many people made it to the shortlist and where they were from. Same with interviews here and CV sent if that's something you've done. And then we can see how many assignments you've booked. So we can see 1, and that reflects the 1 up the top here. Scrolling down to the bottom here, we've got a list of all the candidates' names, where they were found, job board, if you're using any of the job boards that link in to Adapt, so Logic Melon, Broadbean, etc. You've then got owning consultant of that candidate. You can see what stages they went through and anybody that's actually brought you in revenue in that period. So as you're seeing there, brilliant report, particularly good for your marketing team to be able to plan their budgets for the year after on the sites that you're going to be using and advertising on. Always good for the HR team as well. And then great for you as consultants to know exactly where you're getting your candidates from and which ones are actually being the ones that you're placing or getting further in those stages on your jobs.